We are here, Clubs and Corks, golf podcast, closet, according to Jason Kokrat. This is a real honor. So your wife, your lovely wife, Candace, said we need to have some female representation. So who else? None other than one of her teammates, a fellow Canadian. We love Canadians, okay? We are a Canadian-centric golf podcast. Bob Vokey, Luke Taylor, and Jan Dowling. Nice. We got Jan Dowling. Let me tell you a little bit about Jan Dowling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please do.
So Jan has a bachelor's degree in leisure studies. Almost as good as your recreational management degree.
It's the same thing.
Yes, but she was an academic all MAC 3 times. How many were you?
1.
Okay, so we have a lot in common.
Better than none.
I think one.
What I think's really cool is you're a member of the inaugural women's golf team at Kent State, which I think is pretty impressive, which is amazing because the men's team has always been at the forefront, and they just started the golf program in the late 90s. So LPGA Tour, Canadians Women Open, where was that played at?
That was out in Nova Scotia.
Oh,
it was
lovely.
Beautiful. Yeah.
But my favorite one, 2 of my favorite ones, you were on the reality television golf series, The Big Grape. Big Grape. That would be what I'm on, The Big Grape. The Big Grape 3, ladies only. Where was that? On Golf Channel in fall of 2005.
Yeah, you're talking to a washed up reality TV star. So here we go. That was at Kingsmill Resort in Virginia.
Oh, cool. In Virginia. Yeah.
Beautiful
Nice.
spot. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But even more important, and my daughter said, don't embarrass me because it's my kid's dream school. And my daughter's becoming a decent golfer as Ben's helper. Pretty good. She's got a nice swing, unlike her father. University of Michigan women's golf coach for 8 seasons.
This is the 8th season. It's hard to believe. Yeah.
What I would love to say, I can't because we have a lot of Ohio supporters. All I want to say is hail to the victors. But I can't say that. I didn't say that. I wasn't thinking that. My wife went to Michigan. So Jan Dowling.
We can go offline. It's great.
Yeah,
great to be here, guys.
Yeah.
So is it Go Blue or Big Blue? What do you guys say? Go Blue?
Don't be silly.
Come on, Ben. You know the answer.
Ben.
Yeah, I know. I'm just teasing. So, I mean, obviously, Jan and I go way, way back, right? I mean,
I apologize for him.
Yeah. I remember when they were all coming in for the recruiting visits, but a lot of people don't know, like her was recruiting most of you guys, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then, we're very lucky to get Jan, and she won how many times did you win in college? Did you win 2 or 3 times?
I had 5. 5.
See,
5.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she was obviously a great player. Canadian ladies AM champ. Was that before you turned pro? Right before you turned pro, or
right before? I think it was summer going into my junior year.
Okay.
I believe. Long time ago now, Ben. Holy.
Oh, I know.
It's
over 20 years now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's been to some of the, obviously after she played, she tried playing for, making it in the LPGA and stuff. Just didn't quite work out. But I mean, Kent State assistant with Duke. And then Duke after
Florida.
that, and then the head coach at Florida.
Tennessee.
So, we're going to talk a lot about amateur and, college golf with you today. And so my big question is, like, what's the difference between, recruiting at Florida versus Michigan?
That was one of my questions.
Well, I didn't see
Too late.
So what's the big difference? Obviously, weather's a big factor, but also I mean academically, right? Michigan is a very prominent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like up here.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
Kent State and UIC are down here.
Florida,
Kent State and UIC
I mean, I can imagine Florida is probably not the hardest school to get in. I mean, it's a great school, but it's probably not. It's not the level of Michigan.
Right.
And
Duke is.
But Duke is. So
Duke
what's it like recruiting at those different schools when it's, obviously you got the academic portion.
Snow.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really about finding the right fit. I mean, you've got to have a kid that wants the academic challenge as well. And it's obviously a positive, right? Like we are able to attract some kids. Like if you look at our roster, we have kids from California. They're not going to come to Michigan if it's, like you're not going to see that on a mid-major roster, like California kids. Like the kids that are coming from California want a great academic experience and they want big time athletics, right? They want to be able to go to football games and basketball games, which are incredible experiences. And so it opens up some doors to some regional areas that, we maybe wouldn't be able to get to based on our weather. So that's nice. I mean, we're able to kind of dip into like Texas and Florida too. So, I mean, I think the biggest difference is, once they're here, there's a lot of academic stress on them, right? Like you can't Ben and I, as Luke was saying,
sleep through class, what?
Leisure studies. We liked our majors, but I mean, they weren't taxing.
Hey,
much,
I was a communication major, and that was really difficult. I think it had the best female to male ratio, and
For
it was
you.
probably it is about me, Jan. Please, I'd like you to stop and just realize it is about me for once in my life. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not. So I used to coach at DePaul, which we just talked before, and you're right. I mean, DePaul is not Michigan grade wise, but it is the largest Catholic school in the nation, which a lot of people don't understand. They think it's Notre Dame. It's actually DePaul. You're in Chicago, Ann Arbor, which we've talked about, or I love Ann Arbor. It's a great city, a lot of culture. Once you get a kid there, it's like, wow, it's a city within a city, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But how do you compete against a Texas, a Stanford?
Honestly, you don't. I mean, the best, you don't. Like, you try and you work hard to find the kids with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, right? That maybe got bypassed by Stanford or Texas or Florida. And, they want a great educational experience and they want that challenge, but they also want the athletic experience. And so you get some pretty disciplined type A perfection oriented kids. And I would say that's the biggest difference is they impress me all the time. Like last week we were figuring out like our workout schedule and they're like, "Coach, we already got that figured out." And I was like, "Perfect. You guys are great." They're just like on top of stuff. Like it's amazing to me. Like they're a lot of fun to teach and coach. And but honestly, you find the kids that are developing, maybe a little bit slower in their junior years, but are kind of peaking and, just need a little bit more instruction, a little bit more experience, and kind of take them to the next level. And it's fun. It's like Ben knows this, and you would too from your DePaul days, like going down south and beating up on teams that are able to practice year round.
Hell yeah.
It's like the best feeling in the world. And I wouldn't want it any other way. Pretty cool.
So now, like when you were at Florida, did you get kids would you even go to California to recruit, or would you just stay in the Southeast? Like, is that the difference? I mean, I think Duke would probably draw kids from California.
Yeah.
But
Florida, I mean, we really just were able to go anywhere. I mean, you just recruited the best. Like, I didn't think about it regionally at all when I was recruiting at Florida. We just sought out the best fit, and wherever that kid was from was where they were from. So you could pull from California. I never recruited anyone at Florida from California, but it wouldn't have stopped me. I wouldn't have said, I'm not going to worry about California because, again, it's about finding the right fit and getting a little bit lucky, like a kid that wants a different experience than going to Texas or somewhere else in the East Coast. So, Florida was good because you could recruit kids because it was a good enough academic school where you could recruit kids that were very serious about academics, but you could also get away. You could also hide a little bit academically if you wanted to at Florida. At Michigan, you can't hide. So you got to make sure these kids can handle it. And they have tons of support. So it's just making sure they ask for the help.
So would a guy like me be able to get into Michigan when I was getting recruited?
No.
Not? Okay, so you're saying I can't, man. That's fine.
But I mean,
we would have loved to. We would have done everything we could to get you into Michigan. I'll tell you that.
That's a great Lou Holtz question because that's what Lou Holtz, like when I got to know him at Lake Nona, that's what he said. I got a couple kids that I could get in,
Yeah.
We'll get you the support you need, Ben.
Yeah. Love it. Great question. So when you were getting recruited by Herb and, Mike, where else were you looking?
Nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, no, I was a nobody, man. I was a kid that just started competing pretty late. And I actually in Ontario, high school used to be 5 years.
Wow.
And so in my
Wow.
4th year, yeah.
What? No. Well, if you're really intelligent, I graduated in 4 years. Well, I went to college early, but
Yeah.
you had OAC, right?
Right.
Little
OAC.
Ontario academic credits. Yeah, I know. A
Yeah,
little
that's
bit of
right.
some of
That's right.
Yeah,
So
did.
I was going to wait and do a 5th year of high school. And then I saw Kent State and everything the program was going to be about. And I just, I fell in love with it and the opportunity. It was perfect for me just because I was a late bloomer. I was late to competitive golf. And at least my first year, I felt like my odds were pretty good that I'd get in the lineup. So that was a big decision for me. And then funny story, it's funny that you were talking about the recruiting, Ben. I don't know if you remember this, but this is how our relationship started. I think you're roommates with John Mills, right? Another Canadian, now the head coach at Kent State. And so I think we were on our recruit visit and we were showing them Fletcher Hall, the residence hall at Kent State. And we knocked on the door and John and Ben answered the door with no shirts on.
Oh, that would have been scary.
That's how we got Jan to Kent State.
That's right. That's right. I think that was the tactic to start out, but now it was a great experience for me to be there.
I don't remember that, but it's a great story.
She does.
Good tactic.
She does.
Tactic.
She doesn't forget.
The 17-year-old is like, wow, college guys answering the door, no shirt on.
This is great. Just like back home, eh? So how big was, I don't even say it, but how big for our listeners, and we do have some Canadian fans, believe it or not. How big is golf, especially in the women's category in Ontario, Canada? It's obviously grown through the years. I mean, you look at what Brooke Henderson has done on the Pro Tour. It's hockey. Everything's hockey in Canada, right?
Yes and no. I mean, I think Golf Canada has invested a lot, and Golf Ontario invested a lot in the development of their players, and they're seeing that happen. We actually have a freshman on our team from Ontario, Monet Chun. She's from Richmond Hill, and she's just been brilliant for us. She's finished in the top 15 first 3 events. So very, very well coached young lady, and gone through the whole Golf Canada program. So, I mean, I think they're investing a lot and really trying to make the game grow, and it kind of starts at the ground roots level, but it ebbs and flows, right? Like, I think you get these classes of junior golfers and they push each other. You kind of get the ebbs and flows in the States too, right? Like Ben grew up with a lot of great players from Ohio, and I'm sure they started competing against each other when they were 12, 13 years old, and maybe even younger, and they just push each other. So they've got some great young women that are coming up, and it's exciting to see how they develop. I think Brooke's been a big part of that too. Pretty inspirational.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So speaking of your team now, so how is it young? Is it experienced team? Are you a young team? Obviously you have the freshman that's playing really well, but I think in college, the experience speaks volumes, right? I think you look at basketball, right? The teams that have been around the longest, they seem to succeed the most in the tournament. Is it this? Do you feel it's the same in golf? I know it's more an individual, but if you get some guys, girls that you can develop, you can turn them into a great, because you need all 5, right? It's not just
absolutely.
You can't just have 1 or 2 and expect.
Not anymore. It used to be that way, but not anymore. The teams are so good now. I mean, it used to be that you could shoot. You broke 300 in women's college golf back when I was playing. It was a good round, and now if you shoot in the mid 290s, you're dead last. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. But our team is a mix. We have 1 senior that's in the lineup pretty regularly, 2 juniors that are in the lineup regularly, 2 sophomores and a freshman. So pretty deep. We've got 9 on our roster. 2 are at home right now because of COVID stuff, just for the whole academic year. But the 7 that are here, they're beating each other up, trying to get in the lineup. So I think that's been good. So for the past year and a half, we've had a lot of depth, and they've really, where they could have gotten away with a 3-putt here or a missed easy up and down there. Like they realized they're missing getting in the lineup by a couple shots, and it's motivated them to improve. So that's been huge. And then COVID with last year, a lot of our all of our players got an extra year of eligibility. And so the roster that we have now is actually going to be the exact same next year, which bodes well for us. So
that's nice.
I'd say we're a fairly veteran team right now, but we're going to be even more so next year. So
was that, speaking of COVID, was that a challenge with the recruiting because the kids get an extra year?
Oh man. Yes and no.
Did you take a year off or like?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options.
Look, she's at the beach right now. She's relaxing. Feet her in the sand. Yeah, she's living the life.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge, man. It's we're lucky. Between my assistant and I, like, we've worked hard to get really good kids in, and they're just fun kids, no drama, great character, and we've invited all of them back. And so a couple of them have aspirations to play professional golf. So they'll kind of have to make that decision on whether they want to stay for a 5th year, but we're going to kind of hold some money for them. And thankfully we had the time to plan that as it happened. So, yeah.
So how does that work? If you're recruiting, let's say, like in a normal year, how many players would you be potentially losing this year?
In a normal year, we would have lost one, and we would have had to have replaced her. She's one of our best players.
Right.
So she's actually going to stay.
So I guess what happens to some of these programs, let's say that would have lost 3 girls, now are going to come back. How does that bode for a lot of these high school kids?
Yeah, exactly. There's a domino effect for sure. Like these poor 21 kids, like the high school graduates of the 21 class. And I think it's going to affect the 22 class. And probably a little bit the 23 class. It just depends if you've already committed that money or not, right? If you hadn't, then you could give it to your current players. If you had, then the kids that want to come back for a 5th year, they could, but they probably aren't going to get any scholarship money. So that's a program by program thing, but you can't go over your limits. Like women's golf, you have 6 scholarships. Men are 4.5. You can't go over that limit. So they either have to find like an academic scholarship somehow, or like parents foot the bill, or if your program hadn't given the money away already, they could grant it again.
Wow.
So it's been a bit of a mess, right? Like it's already an awkward conversation because it's got to be a 2-way street. It's like you're re-recruiting these kids, right? Like, do you want to come back? And then if they do, like, what can you offer them? So it's just been tough all around for this group of people.
So just for our listeners to understand how college golf works, you have, usually you take 5, sometimes maybe 6 golfers to a tournament, and 4 scores count. So it just kind of gives you an idea. 5 play typically, and 4 count per round. So just so if some of our listeners don't understand how it really works. So what's your magic number? You said 7 you have. Like, what's your magic number for a team?
We've liked 8. 8's been really good because it gives us a little bit of depth. We can take the 3 players that aren't regularly in the lineup and develop them. Hopefully they're like the younger players that we're developing. And they're around great players that are pushing them. But you start to get 9, 10, 11, it's hard to really spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
Our practices are 2-3 hours in the afternoon, and that goes by fast. And as coaches, like, we've got to spend time with the kids that are going to be posting scores for us. And so once you get to 10, 11 people on your team, that gets tough. 8 or 9 is good for tee times too, so makes it easy.
And so speaking of Michigan and their facility, I saw you guys just got a new short game area built.
Yeah,
is that right? To your Instagram I saw, or Twitter. Do you have an indoor facility?
We do.
Workouts and all that. I mean, where do you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Is it like the field house like we had? We had the baseball team on the other end trying to hit balls at them, but. Do you have
it's nice. Yeah. So we've got, our course is on campus. It's a beautiful old Alistair
we
McKenzie.
Played there a few times.
I've played there.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know how much
it's a good golf course.
You know how much how much I had to pay for that? $45. being a husband of a alumni.
She played.
That's pretty good.
Well, I'm not.
You're
I
a VIP,
understand-
Luke.
I understand.
You're a
that.
VIP.
I know
VIP, Luke.
that course is the funniest was, so I was playing and these two guys let me in front of them, and there was a guy bigger than me. He was like probably 6'6", 350 pounds. He was barefoot. I said, "This is Michigan." He didn't really get that, but it's a great. I love Alistair McKenzie. It's a great course.
I finished runner up in the Western AM there, or Western
That's
Junior
awesome.
there.
Really?
Yeah.
Who won it?
Brad something. I'll think of it.
Brad.
Did he win?
He played at Texas. He
Oh.
played on tour as All American, but
Did he win a major? Did he win a British?
I don't think
Open?
he. I don't
No, he
think he
didn't.
won. No,
He didn't. He didn't win.
on tour,
And
but
he didn't win
was
the
a really
Valero
good player.
either.
He was really good. Oh, think of it here.
Cool. Was it match play? It must have been
Yeah, it
match
was
play.
match play. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that
So what-
18th hole is a good one. I don't know if it came down to
Yes.
the 18th hole or not. But
Well, no, he beat me on 17.
That damn pond.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
took
that
my brain
pond.
away. I tried to go
Yeah.
get it.
you're not
It's
the
been,
first.
I haven't played since
That's
college. So I remember most of it, but it was a good
You
course.
got to come back.
Yeah.
You both have an open invitation. But
All right.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, let me text my wife. So I want to ask you a question. How important is a winning basketball or football program for your program successes?
it's really hard to quantify that, but
Yeah.
it's awesome. I mean, it's just a great any excuse to text your recruits, say, "Hey, you watching this Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight?" And I mean, that's really cool. We had both basketball teams go to the Sweet 16. Our men's team is on to the Elite Eight. They're playing tomorrow night. Game's at 10 o'clock. I don't know if I can stay awake for it, but
Yeah.
when's Ohio State play?
They're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Oh,
She did.
right.
Nice one, Jan.
Yeah,
That
when
was
are
a
they-
good one.
Yeah, but
That was a good
the
one,
problem in his defense, you can't really text recruits when Michigan and Ohio State are playing football. Hey, you watching
No.
this game?
Not right now. Not right now.
Yeah.
We do
You gotta-
have the record. We do have the overall record, though. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any
We
good
can
Jim?
claim that.
Well, do you have any
Well-
good Jim Harbaugh stories?
I haven't interacted with him much. He did come
Was he
over
wearing
to
khakis?
he every day.
Every day.
Although he started wearing navy pants this year. Might have been a COVID thing. I don't know, but he does love golf. He actually,
He does.
this is super cool. We had who's on our team now. She's a sophomore on our team. She's from Traverse City, Michigan, so up in
Yep.
northern Michigan. Amazing kid, and she's she loves Michigan everything. And so, I was like, do I pull this card on this young woman? And I was like, yep. And so we got in touch with Coach Harbaugh, and he ended up we didn't think we were going to get in. It was like a busy practice day, and we ended up going into his office, and he was like, spent 30 minutes with her and was doing like air golf swings and like asking for advice on his golf swing. It was great. Like, he's a big golfer. I mean, he's played the AT&T Pro-Am. Like, he's played that a bunch.
He actually moved out of Lake Nona right before we moved in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
That's
he
great.
had a place there, but
Yeah. Yeah. His whole family's here now. Like his parents are here. And so
That's cool.
really hoping he can get that program going the next year or two.
It's good for
Yeah.
the Big Ten.
It is good for the Big
It really
Ten.
is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I-
But no, it matters. I mean, it matters. I mean, especially right now, just financially, it matters too.
So we're just gonna take a quick short break. I know Ben. Ben, get your hand modeling going. Okay.
All right.
The miracle of wine capturing a special time and place finds its essence in the Mira Cabernet Sauvignon Schweitzer. Come on, Vanna White, Schweitzer Vineyard. Even before Jim Bear Dyke and Gustavo A. Gonzalez founded Mira, they dreamt of making a definitive Napa Valley Cabernet from this premier Grand Cru vineyard, first planted in 1885 in the heart of the Stags Leaps district. The Schweitzer family devotes incredible care in their stewardship of the land and the fruit it yields, making them ideal partners in Mira's quest for pure expressions of vineyard and varietal. The Mira Cabernet Sauvignon Schweitzer Vineyard. Pour yourself a miracle.
Nice. You
Well
didn't
done.
mess up this time.
I know. I've had a
You're
little bit of
getting
wine
better.
before
You're
this.
getting
yeah.
better. Yeah. So speaking of Michigan, so I tried for years to get Candace to go to football games with me at Ohio State, right? And then she goes up and visits Jan, and then she sends me pictures from the football game up there. Like,
we had a good time.
Peter,
we had a good
come
time.
on, you need to come back.
Is she a Michigan fan?
No,
Campus?
but
Oh,
she's she's not a fan. I mean,
no.
she'll watch every now and then because I'm watching, but yeah, she's not.
Are you
really-
still an Ohio State fan?
Well, I grew up right there. Yes,
So why do
I'm in a Kent State fan.
Yeah, but what
number
what I
one,
don't
but-
understand is, and it happened at my all the schools I went to too and played at. So, like UIC is an offshoot, I guess, of Illinois. Kent State's, not an offshoot, but Ohio State. Why do all these people that go to Kent State or Illinois, Chicago, or wherever, then they wear like Ohio State stuff to like the Kent State football game, and they ain't playing
Well,
Ohio State?
I wouldn't do that, but I wear my Kent State stuff. But I don't. I mean, I think it's just those school. It's like kids that probably go to Western or Central Michigan. They probably,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's Michigan
Eastern,
fans or
or
Michigan
Eastern, yeah.
State fans or whatever. It's just that's the big school. It's big time. I don't know. I mean, I grew up right there. It was kind of hard not to.
Yeah, but no
Yeah.
offense. I think if she walked on campus at Michigan and someone was wearing a Michigan State shirt on a Michigan campus, I think they get tackled.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But-
got to be careful.
I
with
mean,
that
but
one.
there's no rivalry between Kent State and Ohio State. Let's be
There
honest.
should be though.
There isn't golf, right? And maybe
Who's
some
better?
There isn't
other
golf.
sports. There's
Yeah.
other sports
Who's better?
and golf.
Yeah.
Kent State. I mean,
Who's had more pros? Oh, you got Jack Nicklaus, so that's the
well, they
problem.
have the
Mm.
greatest of all time, but
Yeah.
I mean, right
They
now
do
we
have
got
that.
Corey Connors, we got Mackenzie Hughes, we got Jan Dowling at
Yeah.
Michigan. Your teammate, is she still at Oklahoma?
Yeah. Still
really?
in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Head golf coach at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
There's
mean,
another
you
interview.
came in with like 15 Canadians when you came to Kent State.
That's true.
right? I mean,
That's true. Took over.
other than Candace, was there any? I
Was
can't
there
think.
any kids from Ohio? Well, there's Heather. There's in New York. Kim K was from New York. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's
no, there's
right.
a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
Canadians. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're everywhere.
Heather, Heather,
We're everywhere.
Joe McDonald,
Yeah.
Julian Wine, right?
Yeah. You got a good memory. It's impressive.
Well,
Yeah.
He doesn't have the same body that you saw 25 years ago. man.
Of
course
That's
not.
funny.
Nor do I.
Here, bring that
So what? I mean, so her page was a Canadian, the head golf coach. How long did he coach the women's golf team for some time, or was he kind of like
No.
the director of golf, and there was always a kind of a head coach kind of thing for women?
Yeah, he was the director. So I think day to day he spent most of his time with the men's team, but he definitely influenced, if we asked him a question about something like golf wise, he would help for sure. And I think he helped kind of guide Mike Morrow, who was our coach.
Canadian.
No, Ohio, from
Okay.
Kent, Ohio,
He's
born
from
and
Kent?
raised. Yeah.
I think he was
Yeah.
a first Kent State All-American, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
He
one of
was,
the
yeah, he
best,
was a really
yeah.
good player.
Yeah.
He played with Herb too
Yeah. Yeah.
at Kent State.
They go way back.
But he's
yeah.
helping you out now a little bit, right?
Yeah, he's our volunteer coach, which
Yeah.
is really, really cool. So his daughter, who also played at Kent State, Mandy,
Yeah.
her last name now is Unruh, but was Morrow, obviously. So she was 9 or 10 when I was a player and was just getting into golf. And she used to come on the road with us and watch our team and eat junk food in the golf cart as we were playing and hang out with us. So she's a cool kid, but now she's our assistant coach.
Yeah.
And then her dad is our volunteer coach. So he's just a wise coach and old school, keeps things simple, watches the golf ball and makes decisions on golf swing stuff from there. He's been doing it a long time, and it's just nice to have that kind of technical feedback for some of our players that, I never stood on a tee and taught golf lessons. So if there was one area where like I'm not a technician, so to speak, with swings, and nor do I necessarily want to be, but it's nice to have that, hey, Mike, what are you seeing in this golf swing? And how do we keep it simple so they can still compete and score, but make their swing better? So
Yeah, what I remember about Mike, I mean, hey, none of us had a perfect swing, but like even with you guys, like he just minor little changes, right? And,
yeah.
because you guys can play. It's just a matter of making the little adjustments. It's no big swing overhauls, but so
And he taught like ball control. Yeah. He taught ball control. He taught us how to hit knockdown shots. I had never known how to do that as a junior golfer, and tons of like short game stuff, like high spin shots and bunker shots. And it's great.
Perfect. And so what's he do? Drive up there now? Is he still living in Kent, right?
Yeah, he's still in Kent. Yeah, no, he'll come up. He hasn't come up this year just because of COVID stuff.
He
but
zooms,
he zooms up.
Yeah,
He zooms up.
zooms
But
up.
yeah, he's been. He came down and he watched us play at Briars Creek. Actually, that was pretty cool. But he normally, in a non-COVID year, he's here once every week or two and kind of touches base with. He worked with a couple of the players with some swing stuff. So. Yeah, but he'll hopefully next season he'll be back in the fall. But we haven't seen him a ton just because this is COVID stuff and all the protocols. So yeah.
And I guess how much? So now you're obviously a head women's golf coach at the University of Michigan. They don't say they say the university. Now University of Michigan. Yeah. I mean, how different is that from, let's say, you talked about how you don't do a lot of the swing or what have you, whatever it is. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying, but anyway, so how different, so when you're in college, what are you really working on with all these gals? Because I mean, they're all very good players. I mean, are you breaking swings down? Are you is it more just kind of motivation, repetition? I guess, what are you doing as a head coach?
Mind stuff. A ton of preparation and practice, right? It's like, what do your practices look like? You know, we have 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon to work with them. So we're making these practices pretty effective. That's the biggest thing we see is these players, they're obviously very good. They've got great swing patterns. They've got good ball control. So now it's about like learning how to play smart golf, making good decisions, course management, learning how to practice correctly. And that's a big thing. I mean, busting balls at the same target, 50 balls in a row to the same target. I mean, you're not going to get better that way. Not at this level. There's a time and a place for that when you're younger. Absolutely. But once you get to this level, that's not what it's about. And then short game stuff. We actually do a ton of development with short game. So learning how to adjust to different lies and taking your best guess at what that lie will look like and how to learn how to green read. I mean, that's a big thing. And like, how do you work on that? How do you get better at that? And so making the most of our practices is huge. And we do a ton of like course prep leading into tournaments and kind of starting to think about, you know, just little simple. It sounds simple once you talk about it, but we just played in the desert. And before we left, like, what are things you need to be thinking about when you're playing in the desert? They know the answer to it, but to like actually say it out loud and go, these are the things we need to be thinking about. How much is the ball rolling out? How much is it going to release when it lands on the green? How much wind is there going to be? Like those types of things. And, you know, the good players are probably thinking about it anyway, but it's our 3, 4, 5 player. And then the ones that are learning how to get ready to play in tournaments. That's the stuff we do. And that's the fun stuff for me. Yeah. We do some swing stuff, but we're not revamping golf swings. It's just not what we want to be doing. Yeah.
The best advice I ever got when playing in the desert for the first time, it probably would relate to you, was if you're going to go to the bathroom on a golf course, make sure you take your 2 or 4 iron rattlesnakes.
Yeah, I've seen a snake or two. Thankfully, we didn't see one this past week, but I am not texting while I walk in the desert. That is darn sure. Yeah.
So what are your favorite, like, just name one of your favorite drills, like, to work on with your students?
One of my favorite putting drills of all time, I actually got from Jordan Spieth in a podcast. So what he does is, I think he's an amazing, like, mid-range putter. And so we call it the Spieth drill. And you essentially pick a 10, 15 footer and like you read the break, and then you put 2 dimes down about the middle third of the putt. And so you put it about a putter length apart, the 2 dimes, and then you putt a ball. And if your ball went through the dimes and it went in, it means you got the read right, the speed right, and you probably started it on your line. So you're getting like 3 forms of feedback from just that one. So, you know, and if it didn't go in, did it go through the gate? Okay. So you actually hit a good putt. So it wasn't your stroke, it was the read. And so you've either got to adjust the speed or speed. Yeah, exactly. So they're getting some great feedback just from taking that extra time to put those dimes down and hold their read accountable. And we do a ton of that type of stuff, like the practice round day, learning how to green read on new greens. So who can adjust the quickest is going to be probably the best. So
Well, that's when you go from 1 week to the next, like you're playing in, you're down in Arizona, and the next week where you play next, you could be in
Indiana. Southern Indiana. Yeah.
So it's just going to be totally different. It's going to be
totally
50
different.
degrees
Yeah.
and possibly rain where it was warm and dry. So the best players always make those adjustments. And a lot of it's experience too, right? The more you play, that's what I tell the juniors, just play, get in as many tournaments as you can.
So true.
Just, you don't have to just play once a month or once every, they think playing twice over the summer. I played a lot. Well, you might've played a lot, but you didn't play a lot of tournaments.
Yeah. That's true.
It's a whole nother game than just playing, Country Club of Hudson every day. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
so
there's
true.
a world out there. So,
well, I tell a story about you, Ben, quite a bit. It's pretty inspiring.
It wasn't the shirt story?
Yeah.
No, not the shirt story. Keep it
flexing?
PG.
Okay, that's cool.
I don't know if it was your junior year or your senior year, but you went an entire spring season without a 3-putt. Which, if you're thinking about that, that was before Kent State had like an indoor facility, and so you would have started in Puerto Rico, then you would have gone down to Texas, and then you played all these different courses and different grasses, and not one 3-putt for the entire spring.
Wow.
So I think that's kind of my challenge to my players. It's pretty inspiring.
That's cool. It's a great challenge. I mean, I don't remember doing it, but I do remember, like, every time I go somewhere, the first place I step on is a putting green.
There you go. Music to my ears, Ben.
I don't walk to the range, right? And start hitting balls, because if I'm playing in Texas or California, the range is the same, right? But the putting is very different.
What do you
Music to my ears.
I'm just kidding.
So tell your players that. Go to the putting green first, right?
Yeah.
Some time.
That's the thing that changes, right? The grasses and the greens. Your swing's going to be your swing.
But that's really where you make the money, right? I mean, you drive for show and putt for dough.
Yeah. I remember, at 84 Lumber year one, I think I hit 12 greens through 2 rounds and had
Wow.
But I wasn't that far off. I was on the fringe a lot, so it wasn't like I was missing it big time, but still, it was like, you don't have to hit every green, right? If your short game's good, and then it bleeds into your long game, I think.
Yeah. Gives you confidence.
I think it works in the other way. People say, if I hit it better, I'm going to score better.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if you don't make the putt, it doesn't matter, right? So true. You hear that, Luke?
Yeah.
He's getting mad at me because that's what I keep saying.
No. I'm gonna listen to you for once. I really am. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go. I get so bored putting, and I like that Spieth drill. But I would do it with either loonies or toonies or quarters, because that way, when you're not looking, I'm going to steal it from you. But
do you even know what a loony looks like right now?
Hell yeah,
baby. Do you even have it?
I still have a loony and toonie in my house.
I still mark my ball with one of those.
Yeah. Well,
have you been able to get up there at all?
No, I haven't been back in a year.
Yeah. January is the last time I've seen my parents, my sister, her family, my brother, his
crazy.
My niece and nephew, best friends.
Same.
But hopefully
it'll open up soon.
Yeah. I hope so. But Jan, thanks so much. You're going to stick around with us for a couple minutes to.
It was a lot of fun, Jan. Thank you.
Ask you a kind of ultimate golf weekend in Michigan. Jan, thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck in your season. And thanks for listening to Ben and I. Remember to rate, subscribe, review, whatever the hell you do. And Jan, I'm going to leave you with this. Go Blue.
Go Blue. That's right, Ben.
I'm staying quiet.
Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.